the biggest question in Dexter Resurrection right now has to be who the frick is the New York Ripper? I've heard countless of theories and speculations online. Could it be Blessing, Leon Prater, Jonah Mitchell, or maybe the Ripper was the friends we made along the way? But now, 1 week after the 7th episode, I think I've actually cracked the case. The New York Ripper is Gigi Jones, the sophomore student at the Collins College of Criminology, introduced in the 7th episode. And despite how crazy that sounds, it actually makes so much sense. So in today's video I will cover all the clues and hints pointing at her guilt, starting with hint number 1. So it's a quite common storytelling technique to introduce a new character that later will be revealed to be the killer in the same episode where the killer mystery starts to peak. Season 1 of Dexter is a great example of this, where Brian Moser is introduced as Rudy Cooper, a doctor of one of the rescued ice truck killer victims. And who is introduced in the same episode where we get to see the Ripper's victims for the first time, and where we get just a lot more information about the Ripper? Gigi. Hint number 2. Let's address the elephant in the room, okay? What about the male-sounding voice in the tape recording? Well, that is actually another major clue hinting at Gigi's guilt. I believe that it's a fake voice, maybe some sort of voice changer or AI. You see, Dexter Resurrection has kind of made a point by shoving a bunch of modern and or high-tech gear and technology in our faces throughout most of these Dexter Resurrection episodes, like the camera shy hoodie, Dexter's glued-on thumbprint, and the extensive use of AirPods. I believe that they have deliberately done this to remind us of the modern tech available and to make it more acceptable and less convenient that the New York Ripper voice is fake. Hint number 3. Now, the most interesting thing about the Ripper, in my opinion, is that he stopped killing. And the fact that he regularly sends in voice messages to torment the victims' families rules out remorse and regret, and really only leaves us with one reason: that he simply physically can't kill anymore. And that made me think of characters with restricted mobility, like a character that has suffered some kind of accident. And pretty much the first thing we learn about Gigi is that she has an injured arm. She mysteriously jokes about it without really telling us how she got it, when she got it, or how bad it really is. What if her arm is actually permanently damaged and have been so for the past 5 years, and that is why she can't continue her killing spree?
New Year's Eve happened. Some drunk idiot ran my motorcycle, sent me flying, ripped my arm open.
Say that again?
It's like Chekhov's gun. If you introduce a gun in the first act, someone has to use it in the last. So why make such a big deal of an injured arm and not really telling us how she got it without it being important later? Hint number 4. We all know that Leon Prater was an orphan and grew up in foster care. We also know that the Ripper terrorized the streets where he grew up. So the killer is possibly someone with a connection to foster care, possibly an orphan. And Gigi can tell that Harrison was an orphan within seconds of meeting him, meaning that it's very possible that she would have some kind of connection to that world herself. Hint number 5. From the recorded New York Ripper's phone calls, we can tell that this person really finds joy in terrorizing his victims and their families. He really seems to be feeding off of their terrified reactions. And who do we know that regularly attends lectures on criminal justice where they show images of the Ripper's victims and where the audience gets visibly grossed out? Gigi Jones. I believe that she enjoys the torment on the audience faces as they see her work. Like just a way of reliving her kills now that she can't keep doing them. Kind of reminds me of when Brian Moser visited his own crime scenes in Original Sin. Hint number 6. Gigi and Harrison bonding as fast as they do could be a killer recognizes killer kind of deal. I mean, we've seen it lots of times in the Dexter series, where Dexter, just by looking at someone, can tell that they are a killer. Maybe it's something similar here. Hint number 7. She is a she, and they always refer to the New York Ripper as a he. And the voice also sounds like a male voice. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's only to steer us in the wrong direction. Introducing a new, very mysterious female character this late in the season, pretty much the same scene where we learn that the Ripper is a male, seems a bit too convenient. If not for that tape recording, everyone would be suspicious about the new girl. Now, the one thing that makes this theory a bit of a stretch is her young age. Gigi is only 19 to 22 years old, and we know that the Ripper killed about 22 people before suddenly stopping about 5 years ago. So she would only be 14 to 17 years old during her killing spree. But to me, that kind of makes sense. If we go with the theory of her being an orphan, it wouldn't really be a stretch for her to be able to commit these murders because no one would wonder where she's at or what she was up to. And the victims wouldn't really see it coming that a little girl would kill them. So she would have the element of surprise, so she wouldn't need to be physically stronger than her victims. Actually, now that I think about it, what if Prater happened to visit Gigi's orphanage years ago in relation to some type of charity work and found out about her being the New York Ripper by possibly accidentally catching her in the act. And because of his fascination with killers and strong empathy and relatability to orphans, he took her killing hook and offered her an opportunity to live a normal life again without murder by making sure to cover any evidence she might have left behind using his wealth and contacts in the police force. And that's why the Ripper suddenly stopped killing. Not because of an injury, but because the killer got a second chance at a normal life and maybe even her college paid for. And maybe she got her arm injured when she tried to take up her killing again 5 years later, and she's not used to it, so maybe she cut herself or something like that, and that's why she has an injured arm. Man, I'm just spinning out of control here. You know, I made this video and I will upload this video before episode 8 of Dexter Resurrection, so we'll see if this makes even more sense after that, or if I'm gonna cry in a fetal position in shame for being super duper wrong. What are your thoughts about this? Am I insane thinking this, or does it make sense? Let me know in the comments down below.